Oh, okay.
I have to put an email out afterwards promoting.
We're about ready to start on the Preventing Cancer workshop and week 3 of Stemnomics. So hang tight. You good?
James, maybe. Oh, there's a chair here too. But it's kind of tight there. Pull it back.
Carol, can I get the volume for this?
There's the volume.
Can I have it?
Yes. And like you say,
Pass it over.
take the power, apply it on it, and then route that all out.
Is everybody ready? Awesome. This is so great. So nice to have you all here. So how's everybody doing with so far on this work, on this detox stuff, the fasting stuff? Everybody good? Any wins we need to hear about from the new guys? Yeah.
Does losing weight count?
Losing weight? Now that counts. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I think I've lost 3 pounds. And which is, I don't even think it's, I'm not even thinking that much about it. It's just kind of happened. But what I think is truly amazing is that I don't want sweets. I mean, I don't want them.
Yep.
I'm not saying I hate them. I'm just saying I don't want them.
And that's so great. Isn't that kind of, from the guys that have already done this, isn't that kind of what happened, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Does it last?
Yes. As long as you can stay up on the fat count,
Yeah.
you know, keeping the fat in there. I don't crave carbs or junk food. It's so weird. If someone ever told me that, I would have said, no way. You know, but
Well, there are certain things that I, like Jolly Ranchers,
Oh boy.
I love, Jolly Ranchers, I gotta have at least 1 or 2 a day, and now I'm not even thinking about them.
God, Jolly Ranchers, we put them out of business. It's awesome.
Yeah.
and Elizabeth, you've lost some weight too, right?
I lost 3.4.
3.4. Who else? Anybody else?
I've lost 3.5 pounds.
3.5 pounds?
About
5 pounds.
Oh.
Man, when we're gonna, how much? 5 pounds? We're gonna put weight out of business. 3?
I refuse to weigh myself.
Awesome, I love that. You know what? I want to introduce you to Caitlin because she'll weigh you and you won't be able to look. We won't tell you. Awesome. Well, I'm really glad you're all here. Any other wins before we get started? Yeah.
My focus has been so off the charts. I've done these projects I've been putting off for years with work, and I just am like nailing them and just feeling great.
Brain fog is gone. Much more focused. This is so amazing, and all we've done is change the way we eat. That's it. So far. And isn't that amazing that most of America out there is eating the wrong foods? They're getting inflamed. They're losing their ability to think correctly. They're getting incredibly sick. And the main thing is they've been told the wrong stuff. So I just got back, as you guys know, most of you know, I was in Nashville for a 4-day convention with some of the top people in the industry for natural health. This is, anybody know who this guy is? Drew Manning, Fit to Fat to Fit. This is a guy, he's on Jay Leno, he's been on a lot of stuff. He had decided as a personal trainer to go, why can't my patients lose weight? So he decided to put on 75 pounds. He did that in 6 months. And then
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun, right? Dan, you're in, right? Then he's in with you guys. So the thing is that then what he did, he was on Jay Leno, and he challenged everybody on social media, and he had thousands of people that he took through the process of losing the weight. So anyway, I have an interview with him. I'm going to have him on my radio show pretty soon. And this lady's amazing, Lee Erin Connolly. She has the largest natural cancer clinic in the country. It's in Irvine, and she actually was given, her mother was given sulfanoestrogen or whatever it was when in the 50s when she was born. The doctor said, this will help you with your cramping. We all know that that stuff was terrible, right? Any of us from those ages. So she was incredibly sick, became an MD, and dedicated her life to handling people with cancer because that's what that stuff caused. This guy has the largest clinic in Mexico, Dr. Anthony Jimenez. He spoke to us. It was just phenomenal. His group is Hope for Cancer, and it was amazing what he had to say. Of course, Daniel Pompa, he's the guy that put this whole program together for us and introduced us to all these people. You guys know who this is? He's not a doctor, David Wolf. He's a crazy guy, and you can tell because he has a crazy signature. He's going to be interviewed on my show too, which is awesome, and he talks about food and colors of food. Each color of food helps a different type of your body. Like purple is really good for the brain, green's good for the digesting of the toxins in the liver, and he goes through all that. So I'm hoping to have him, he agreed to come on. We're going to do all colors, which is going to be awesome. This guy is Dr. Brent Delick, and he is innovating with stem cells. It's gone beyond stem cells now. It's actually called exosomes. Exosomes are 1,000 times smaller than a cell that can get into the body and help us regenerate the damaged stuff. This is all stuff you may not need to know. This guy is the Jerry Covato's the guy that looks at dental problems like the cavitations, the toxins, and the organisms that are living in our mouth. We know, like right now, even the main medical societies out there say that 95% of all disease starts in the mouth. So he really comes and shares with us how we can actually get these cavitations handled, which are hidden to most x-rays. And then this lady, Nisha Williams, unbelievable. She's a 37-year cancer survivor. She told us her story, you know, and it said this young lady at like 16 years old was supposed to live a week. She's now in her 40s, and she's a naturopathic doctor. So unbelievable stuff. I was so happy to be. Why isn't my thing working? Do I have to turn it off? Anybody have any eyes? There we go.
What was the name of the conference?
It was. It's called Health Centers of the Future. So this is where I was, Bourbon Street Blues Boogie Bar, but that was actually one of my best friends who's listening to us right now. Hey, Ken and Marita, they just said, hey, we're joining your program because they saw, you know, what's going on. And so we got some people from Nashville. Hey, Nashville, what's going on? Come on, welcome. If that doesn't do it, this will. If I can figure out how to get this started. Kenny took me to this this bar here. Where's my thing? So this will get you guys going. What Nashville's all about. Healthy for the rest of our life. You know, it's really this conference for me changed so many things for me because, you know, a lot of the doctors and the people that are there, they say pain to purpose. So in order to really find your purpose, there's pain that you have to go through. And I've talked about that before where, you know, when you want to become a professional, there's pain to get there. You know, you don't just go buy a contractor's license and, or, you know, chiropractic license and, the Jack in the Box or whatever, you know, Cracker Jack's box. But it takes work. So for you to all get the health that you want, you're going to go through a little pain. And we're all here to work together, right? We were talking about that the other day, right? It's just so nice to have a group that we can all kind of hang with. So I really appreciate all being here. So let's go forward and see what we can do. So the first part of this, I'm going to go over some of the key points to this whole event, and that's preventing cancer. You know, cancer, as you may or may not know, 1 out of 2 of us are going to die of cancer. Isn't that crazy? In 1900s, it was 1 out of 100. So these are the statistics. There's 100 or 10,000 DNA that mutate in every cell in our body every day. 10,000 DNA mutate into cancer cells. We have 1 million cells mutate every day in our body to cancer cells. There's 1 billion cancer cells in 1 cubic centimeter. So if you take a look at, you know, a sugar cube, there's 1 billion cancer cells in there. So since 1 out of 2 of us are going to die of this, none of us in this room are, because we're going to beat the odds, because we know what to do about it. Believe it or not, you know, cancer starts in what? Anybody know where cancer starts in the body? What part of the cell? We've talked about it before. Come on, somebody. The mitochondria. All right. That's it. You got it. So the mitochondria is where every cancer starts in the body. So we're gonna, and it's 15 to 20% of our body cell mass is mitochondria. So, you know, we have fat mass, extracellular mass, and body cell mass. So 15 to 20% of our body, of our live part of our body, are mitochondria. And if that's where cancer cells start, and if we know that there's 1 million of them dying every day, you know, what can we do to get our odds going? Brain cancer, guess what the average age is for brain cancer now?
34.
Huh?
34.
30. Under 30, cancer, brain cancer, the most people that get brain cancer are boys under 30 years old, or men under 30 years old. 1 in 5 women will get breast cancer. It used to be 1 in 7, 1 in 5 now. 50% of all men over 50 years old will get prostate cancer. Now, this statistics I can't back up, but they say 100% of the people over 70 have some sort of thyroid cancer already. You know, it may not kill you, but it's something going on. I don't know about that one, but that's what they said. 1 out of 3 will have Alzheimer's disease and die from that. And then most of the colorectal cancer, right, we used to have to go get a, you know, an exam at what age?
40, 50.
Yeah, it's 50. Now they say most of it is starting at 35 years old. So what's changed? You know, why is it? And it's obviously the toxins in the environment. So this is where we're going to go now. That's what's killing us. That diet right there, partly that diet. And I went over this before. Michigan State University, more than 50% of the world lives with a chronic disease. 50% of the people in the world have a chronic disease, meaning something that's over 3 months, a problem over 3 months. I mean, it's sick. 81 million Americans by 2020, next year, are going to have multiple chronic diseases. That means 3 or more. And, you know, you just take a look, we're rated 47th in the world for health, and the drug companies are raking it in, you know. 99% of disease management is in the hands of the individual and their families, right? How many people do you know that are taking care of their mothers, their fathers? You know, that's the way it is. So it's up to us. If it's going to be, it's up to us. This woman here, she's, again, Dr. Connolly. She's the director of the largest natural cancer clinic in the country. She'll be speaking on our program as well as all of these guys. I just said, do you want to speak? I'll go, yes. You want to speak? Yeah. I'm going, damn, this is good, huh? This is great, man. It's going to, you know, help our country. This is a bad slide. And I got to say that I took pictures of all these slides, and I decided to do this today. I've had 3 days to do it, working how I'm working. So if the slides are crooked, bear with me. I just want to get it to you because I think it's so important that you guys get this information. Anyway, this is Dr. Connolly. She has a Dr. Detective TV show. Pretty amazing lady. So cancer is killing, is the #1 killer of people, age 1 to 85. In the year 1900, 1 out of 100 developed the cancer. Today it's 1 out of 3, and very soon to be 1 out of 2. So we got to do something about it, and we can't. So that's why you guys are here. You know, 1,600 people die of cancer every day. 1,600 people die every day of cancer, or 600,000 a year. 14 million new cases a year. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So what's causing cancer? You know, we take a look at, you know, our lifestyle. We've got the different types of alcohol, or, you know, obesity, lack of exercise, poor nutrition, homeostasis, weakened immune system, too much sugar, hormone imbalances. Why are hormones imbalanced, you guys? Who's been here for a while? Why do our hormones get imbalanced? They act on what?
Mitochondria.
Right, but how do they? What do
Because it's inflammation.
Inflammation in the cell. You're exactly right. So if the cell wall's inflamed, hormones can't act on the cells and they go unbalanced, and we get all kinds of trouble. Let's see, pH stuff, chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the #1 cause of disease in our country. Genetics, we'll go over that. And then, of course, chronic infection, food additives, genetically modified food, GMOs, vaccines, pharmaceutical drugs, and all that kind of stuff. So this is what we're up against. Currently, if you're diagnosed with cancer, you have given 3 choices: surgery, chemo, or radiation. Journal of Clinical Oncology 2004 said, chemotherapy has an average 5-year survival success rate of just over 2% of all cancers. So this Dr. Alan Levine says, the majority of cancer patients in this country die because of chemotherapy, which has been documented for over a decade. This is what we're up against. I mean, I got so pissed off watching this that I go, you guys are, you know, part of my culture, my group. You guys need to know this. You're already doing what you need to do, but I just want to validate you for showing up and just making a decision to do something different. It's really awesome. So this is, you know, cancer cells by definition. It's uncontrolled growth. It's a cluster of cells that's out of control. Sounds like some frat parties I used to go to. Has gone haywire, and it's lost integrity for health. So again, the mitochondria is this little guy inside the cell that creates energy. It's the only thing that creates energy in our body. That is what cancer attacks. Nothing else, the mitochondria. And again, 15 to 20% of our body cell mass, that means the life part of our body, is made of mitochondria. Anybody remember how much of our heart is mitochondria? 70% of our heart cells are made of mitochondria. Because it's got to pump and pump and pump, and you can't give up. Pretty wild. Okay, so most common forms of cancer: skin cancer, lung cancer, prostate, breast, colorectal, bladder, and non-Hodgkin's. What do we know causes non-Hodgkin's lymphoma?
Glyphosate.
Yeah, glyphosate. And just the second case got settled. I don't know if I was here since that happened. Did we talk about that?
Carol mentioned it.
Carol, thank you so much. You did a great job. I got such great reviews for you doing this.
We had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for stepping in. And I know you guys are going to vote me out. It's okay. So the real crazy thing about cancer cells is they create their own nutrition. They create their own nutrition supply. They recruit healthy cells. Only 1 out of 100 cells in a cancer tumor are cancerous. The others are healthy cells that the cancer cells get in. And chemotherapy doesn't kill the cancer cells. It just kills the healthy cells in the body. Invades the immune system. You know, we don't need to go into that too much. But okay, interesting. And this is, I have a better slide for this, but. And I think I've talked about this. An environmental group, the environmental working group, tested the umbilical cord of 10 newborns and found 287 chemicals in the body of somebody that doesn't even come out outside the womb yet. Check this out. 180 are carcinogenic, 217 are neurotoxins, and 208 are reproductive toxins. Doesn't that add up to a little more than that? Because they all do everything, you know. It's like these things are incredibly terrible. So I'm just kind of setting the stage here, and then we're going to talk about what we can do about it. And you guys are already doing it. Cancer cells, lung cancer is one of the most common. 161 people die of lung cancer every year, and it can be probably prevented. What causes cancer? Now this is right out of Dr. Conley's information, as well as Nisha's information, and Dr. Jimenez from Mexico. Parasites, bugs, viruses, and fungus.
What's bugs as compared to
Bacteria.
parasites and
It'll be bacteria.
bacteria?
Very things like that. So what do we know creates a safe haven for all this stuff in our body? Anybody know what causes what
Sugar.
Your pH?
what yeah, but the pH gets different and altered because something settles in our body somewhere. We get it from 4 generations down through ours.
The toxin?
Huh?
Genes.
No.
How on
Who said heavy metals?
Yeah.
All right, another one. You know, you guys should hang together. You got it. Yeah, heavy metals. We get heavy metals from 4 generations down from our mother, probably more. Lead is one of the most toxic ones, and it's in the bone, and it gets delivered to the baby through the umbilical blood. And then, of course, amalgams or silver fillings, which are 50% mercury, have been used for 150 years. So if your mother's mother's mother had mercury, it's adding to your own load. And so if we look at some of just the symptoms of mercury, oh, and this isn't the right one, but what causes cancer? You know, irradiated food, food additives. There's 1,300 different food additives that the FDA allows in our food. Mercury toxicity, dental factors, sunlight EMF, nuclear radiation, pesticides. It just goes xenoestrogens, plastics. I'll talk about that in a minute. Fluorinated water, tobacco smoke, and stuff like that. Here's a really interesting study from the New England Journal of Medicine. They tested 44,000 sets of twins. And from that test, they discovered that diet and lifestyle was a better indicator of cancer than genes. So, oh, my mom got cancer, so I'm going to get it. No, if you eat right and get the toxins out of your body, you probably won't. But if you just go on the American diet, the standard American diet, and just go ahead and just do that, you're going to probably get it. So, you know, you guys are already here, you're not doing it. I want to validate you for being here because you're doing the right thing. So it's pretty crazy. Why care about stress? Well, stress creates inflammation, suppresses the immune system, and promotes cancer. So this is a live cell versus a dead cell. Live cells basically have life force in them. I mean, those cells are what create us, and they're the things that give us motivation, and they group together and make organs, and those organs group together and make a body so that whoever we are can enjoy our life. That's why I wanted to play that guitar player, man, because he's enjoying his life. I've got 20 good years before I'm in my 90s, so I don't think I'll be hiking up, John Muir Trail in my 90s. Maybe I will. In fact, I told my kids, that's where you'll find me at the end, because I'm not going to go into a rest home. I'm just going to put a backpack on, and I'm heading toward the hills. And if somebody finds me, sorry for them, but at least I'll go out the way I want to go. But we want to keep these guys as healthy as possible. So the cure for cancer is in prevention. Everybody agrees to that. They'll never have a cure for cancer, ever. It would be against their best interests, right? And we've talked about this before. If I could create a mechanism that wouldn't kill you, but wouldn't cure you, how long would you need to take that, right? So if I could create a drug for diabetes that wouldn't cure you and wouldn't kill you, and you can live to be so-and-so, and then different parts start to become damaged, is that, the Hippocratic Oath says first do no harm, right? And that is completely against my version of the Hippocratic Oath. The first thing to do is take the money out of the equation and save people, and the money will come. But if you do it the other way around, all we're doing is creating, somewhere along the line, some lifetime, these guys are going to end up being a rock somewhere. That's their story. Okay, what causes cancer? Diet and nutritional deficiencies, toxic emotion, depressed thyroid gland, gluten allergies, heavy metals, bad detoxification, plugged livers, kidneys, gallbladders and intestines, bad oxygen supply, all these kind of things, right?
I love that cellular terrain. That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
That's a good concept.
BPA isn't free. I meant to say BPA free isn't BPA free. So this is one of the big things that they said. Anybody know they buy bottles that are BPA free of water and stuff like that? All of the scientists said it isn't BPA free. It's called BPA-alpha or something like that. It's still got BPA in it. BPA is one of the most toxic and chronic things in our environment. It causes heart disease, asthma, breast cancer, prostate cancer. You can just go down the list there. And this is it, BPA. It's in plastics, canned food lighting. This doctor said, don't ever take a cash register receipt. It's loaded with BPAs. You know, so I'll take the receipt. You know, don't do it. It's going to cause cancer. I mean, you know, you take a look at this and just go, what is it that I can take away from here? One of my very good friends, and you know him too, Chris Phillips, these Showcase Shower Doors. One thing that they talked about is that shower curtains cause cancer because of the phthalates in it. And, you know, Chris is a great guy. And I said, Chris, I have a great motto for you now. You can prevent cancer by getting people to have glass shower doors instead of, you know, shower curtains, because you slather up, you put heat on it, that solvent gets on the shower curtain, and then you're breathing it deep into your lungs with, you know, with the steam, and it's killing you. So get rid of your shower doors. Chris, it's okay, man. It's all right. We'll take care of it. You owe me something. I know he's watching. No phthalates, okay. So here's the real bottom line. What's in your bucket? Now, I've talked about this before. We're all born with a certain size bucket. We have no control over which one we get. It could be this big, or this big. If you're born with a small bucket and you get toxins from your mother's mother, you're pretty much done. These are the twins that get all of the asthma, like my friends Chris and Tim growing up. Tim always had the asthma, neither me and Chris were out partying, and we never got anything, you know. But poor Tim always had this problem, right? So his bucket was smaller. We can't control that, but we can empty it. That's what this is about. When your bucket gets full, you get cancer, okay? Or you have the likelihood of getting it. So we're talking, this whole thing is getting rid of the bucket, which is our fat cells that are filled with toxins, okay? So since chemical pollutants are largely absorbed through the skin, pollutants come in the form of cosmetics, shampoos, deodorants, hair dyes, nail polishes, and other toxins. So, you know, you are what you wear. And, you know, what causes cancer? This is the toxic chemical row in your store. You know, if you know anybody that wears this stuff, even my daughter was wearing the bare minerals, and when we did a heavy metal test on her, barium was really high, because that's what they use for the stuff. This, if you don't have the Think Dirty app, you should get it on your phone. You can basically go in, and this is one that I did, and you can take a picture of the barcode, and it will come up immediately, and it's CDC literature. It's not some funky fly-by-night organization. They're actually pulling off the CDC literature, and you know, all the green's good, the yellow's questionable, and then this stuff, the triclosan, is a 10 on toxicity. Anything that says, what's the famous word? Flavor? No, it's like.
You can't pronounce it.
Yeah, flavor. It's just natural smells.
Oh, yeah,
natural fragrances. Might as well choke yourself. So, and then this is heavy metals. Now we've talked about that. The heavy metals is the thing that gets in our body that allows all of the parasites, bacteria, molds, and chemicals to hide. They make a pH that's correct for these things to live in. So that's why heavy metals are so important to get out of. They get through the blood-brain barrier, they get into the fat cells of our brain, get into the pituitary and hypothalamus gland, they screw us up. So this is one of the things that we got to take a look at. This is an example of a mother-daughter. The mother's 62, the daughter 25, and the mother has lead, you know, really off the scale. Mercury, pretty high. Cesium, she grew up by 3 Mile Island. When it went off, some of us that might remember that. Look at the daughters. Looks exactly the same. Now this one also did makeup. Her barium's high, and her thallium's high, which is makeup. So it's true. We've got it proven, and you know, it's just the way it is. Mercury symptoms. I thought you would like this. Talking about heavy metals. Just take a look at the crowd in our country right now and see what they might have from one heavy metal. Depression, mild fatigue, anxiety, forgetfulness, eyelids and face twitching, digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea, frequent bad breath, constant body odor, dizziness, irritability, sensitivity to sound, inability to concentrate. I've never had that problem. Abdominal mesis, which just means discomfort, low body temperature, cold hands and feet, tender teeth, tinnitus, insomnia, metallic taste, nail fungus, unexplained anger, and autoimmune response. So this is what we're dealing with, guys, and this is why I wanted you to get about this. Top 10 lifestyle choices to create optimal terrain, and we'll go over this more as we go through this 7-week course. But eating organic, there is no eating non-organic food. My friend who's on this call, Ken, out there, I went and stayed with him when I was in Nashville, and he called me, hey man, we're doing great, we're eating tofu. I'm going, I hate to tell you, this stuff is probably GMO. It's phytoestrogenic, which means it acts like an estrogen.
97%.
97% GMO.
What's GMO?
And it's going to make you grow breast, Ken, so quit eating it. No, so he did. But, it's like we don't know. Oh, I'm going to be healthy. What do I do? Well, that's why we're here, to teach you. So this is your choice, that or what Hippocrates said, the natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force in getting well. So that's what we're doing. We're opening up our body's ability to heal. So that's now, there's another slide here. So I'm going to do a longer meeting on this for anybody who's interested, going into what we can do about this. It's going to be a Zoom meeting, so you can watch it on the internet, and I'm going to do it, probably from here on Saturday. If you want to join and just kind of figure it out, you can do that with us. But you guys should definitely get on Dr. Duncan McCollum Facebook. Definitely, if you haven't already joined Health Rebels, it's a private group. You got to ask to be in there. This is where we all can communicate and ask questions that you need to get answered. And then if you haven't done the neurotoxic questionnaire, ask Caitlin for it, or for those of you out there, you're going to email info@McCollum Family Chiropractic, and we'll send you the neurotoxic questionnaire. And I'll go over it for you as a courtesy. It's going to help us find out where these heavy metals and toxins and molds and everything are coming from. And I'll do a free phone consultation with you guys. And then you want a path to preventing the cancer seminar. So this is our information. Is it 47 still working? 474747. If you text "start fasting," it's supposed to be parentheses there, all one word, to 474747 on your phone, you'll be taken where? To our fasting page of our website. And from there you can download the neurotoxic questionnaire and a whole bunch of other good information. So anyway, take a minute and make sure you're on these things, the mediums, because it's going to help you, and it's going to help us help you more.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there some place where we can have access to the slides like that you have tonight? I know that there's the video, but if we could have the slides too.
Yeah, I would be more than happy to send them to you. Just email us and I'll email you my PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. So Preventing Cancer Seminar, it's going to be a Zoom meeting from 9 to 10 Saturday. Here's what we're going to discuss. How toxic am I? What can I do to prevent my risk of getting cancer? I don't think that's correct. What food should I eat or avoid? Do I need to do a cellular detox program? Is it safe to start fasting? Now, a lot of us in here already know it's safe to start fasting. We're working with you. Anybody out there, if you want to find out where you're at, whether or not we can actually just fast, or really, quite honestly, what's your toxic load? Because that's the whole cancer talk. It's not about just the losing weight thing, but it's like, how do I know that my brain is not loaded with heavy metals? My pituitary gland is not loaded with heavy metals. So I have 4 days worth of information that I want to try to get to you guys so you can use it yourself. But I couldn't do it in that, hopefully, 15 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Saturday is the 6th, I think.
Is it?
So is this seminar, is your...
It's Saturday.
It is
Saturday the 6th.
The 6th, okay.
Thank you. Is it really? Happy birthday. I'm so happy for you because you're so much healthier than when we met.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
on the 6th, I knew it.
Yeah, okay, good.
Something was on.
All right, and then we've got Dr. Yushiniro Asumi, of course, and that's the end of this part of the show because he's the guy that has really paved the way for us with cellular detoxification, understanding autophagy, and Dr. Pompa using his works along with Dr. Longo and Dr. Fung, Jason Fung, so that we could put up together this program, which everybody's enjoying, right? Everybody's having wins on this thing. I mean, heck, Dean, you're a whole different person.
From 40 to 2.
From 40 ibuprofen a week to 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Did you hear Ben Fuchs this morning talk about ibuprofen and what it does to the kidney?
Really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also had Ben Fuchs on talking about the toxicity of skincare too.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and he was the one during that show that convinced me to show up here.
Oh, good. Well, he watches my shows. He was probably watching that and immediately, because he said as soon as I said it, he texted you and said he wanted to do that.
Yes,
right?
remember that? It was right there. It was like,
my wife said, Ben Fuchs watched your whole show. I go, you can't steal my stuff. It's okay, baby.
Are they backlogged,
What's that?
your shows?
They are. Well, I'm starting next Saturday and the following Saturday. I'm going to talk to Michael about getting more time. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help me. Okay, so I'm going to go
Actually, there's competition for your time now.
Forget about it.
You're doing such a good job that other people are going, wow, look what Dr. Duncan's doing.
Unbelievable. Okay, let's see. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay, so now unless there's any questions on any of this, yeah.
I just wanted to say something quickly. When you put up that slide of all of the symptoms of mercury toxicity,
Yeah.
if I had seen that slide 7 years ago, I would have known immediately that I had mercury poisoning.
Yeah.
Because I had, just looking at, I had almost probably not 99% of those symptoms I had.
Yeah.
Now, how long has it been now? Almost 2 years or 18 months later?
Yeah.
I'm down to one.
One symptom
Yes,
out of all those?
18 years and stuff.
Wow. Yeah, and I want to make a point. Somebody that was introduced to me has a serious physical condition, and she has so much mercury and root canals in her mouth. And I talked to her the other day, and she hasn't started working with you yet. She was going to go to a dentist and get all of her amalgams out. Literally, it would have tipped her over the edge. You've got to clean up. You've got to have something for those to go into. And I'm telling you this, because don't go out and just go get your mercury out. Definitely by not somebody who may or may not know what they're doing. Check with us first. Sometimes we have to work to cleanse a body for 4 or 5 months before we even do that. And Dr. Pompa got his mercury out. It's been about 15 years ago. It almost killed him. And his pain to purpose was to figure out how to get himself healthy, and it took years for him to get himself healthy. You did an interview with him, I think, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, and did he talk about that, his pain to purpose thing?
He did not talk about his amalgam, no.
Yeah, but that's what got him sick, and he's had 3 kids that were autistic, 2 that he had adopted when some family member died, and he got them through detoxification, and I know these 3 kids, you would never know that they were autistic. They're just incredibly driven guys. So there is something to taking care of our body. And I work with some of the doctors that work with autistic kids. I would love to do it. I work with a lot of kids, as you can see. I know what to do with them. It's a hard rope to toe, however you say, but I have the heart to do it. So if you know any kids that need help, let them know. Okay, so badass bone broth.
Why does getting your amalgams out all at once cause a problem? It seems like it would be a benefit.
Well, the only thing is the off-gassing of that gets up into your brain. Already we know that the mercury that off-gasses daily gets up into our brain. You can watch something, well, I've taken it down now. YouTube's taken this down. Amazon's taking down the root cause. You can't watch it on Amazon anymore. You can still buy the video. I ordered it, so I'll have it here, root cause. And, they're just making it so we can't have access to this information that we need to get healthy. I don't know whoever would want us not to be healthy, but whoever they are, they got a lot of money. So, badass bone broth. I used to make bone broth when I first started. I'm going to flavor it with vegetables, and I realized I'm putting sugar in there. was the wrong thing to do. You want straight bone broth, you know, no carrots and this and that, because then you're putting sugar in there. And who's got their keto meters going now?
I just got it.
Just got it? Okay, a couple of you, how's it working?
Great.
Yeah, you did it too?
Yeah.
Good. Anybody of the older group have some wins on the keto meter and what it's done for you?
I think it just helps verify what you kind of intuitively know or feel in your body. I noticed that this week a few times.
Okay.
I just felt like, yeah, I'm in ketosis, and I checked it, and I was.
Yeah.
But you have to put in. What I did learn is you have to put in the right little tab that sets it up for that particular bottle.
Right.
Otherwise, it won't read right.
Yeah. So you have instructions, and it's $114 for 60 of each. And usually the strips are $1 each, so you get the keto meter and all the strips for less than the price of the strips. I highly recommend you get it. You're going to really love it. We can send you the link to it if you don't have it. Okay, so here we are, week 3. Now what's really funny is all the weeks start to come together for me, and I kind of get confused which week is which week is which. And you know, Carol was mentioning, I think, that some people kind of jump ahead in the book. The books, by the way, they're redoing them, and so they're still backordered, but they're going to be better when we get them. We'll make sure you have the stuff you need, because you don't want to look ahead anyway. You get in trouble, is my point. You know, you try to do a 5-day water fast on week 2, you're just going to crash and burn. So just stick with it. We're giving you one simple assignment each week. And if you do that, you're going to be fine. So we're discovering our personalized eating window. So anybody discovered that, or where are we at with you guys? Down to 3 meals a day, right?
Yeah.
No snacking?
No.
Anybody having trouble with that?
I eat too much at my big meal.
Okay. That will change, right? Who's lost their appetite?
Because I recognize it.
Okay. So we're in this week here, so we're going to take a look at that. So there's 3 objectives. Adapting is the key. Intermittent fasting, and what do you do if you're not in ketosis? So, so right now, anybody doing 2 meals a day?
I have, and that's where I think the little bit of snacking has come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped eating about 7 at the very latest, and but then I might do a little bit, just a little bit of snacking, maybe around 8 or 9, and then I don't eat again until 11 or noon.
Okay.
So yeah.
So we're going to try to start an eating window now this week. That's what we're shooting to do. And we're going to start to get fat adapted. And this is where you want the meters, because you want to know if you're fat adapted. Because you could be having a long period of time where you're not eating. And if you're not testing your blood glucose or ketones, your blood glucose might go up, which means you are doing one of 2 things. You're either burning up stored sugar in your muscles and your liver. Your liver has a ton of stored sugar called glycogen in there. And so when you're running as a runner and you hit that wall, that's when all your glycogen burns out of your liver. Now you have no stored fuel. But still at this point, actually there's 3 things. We could be burning stored sugar or glycogen. We're burning the stuff out of our cells. And the cool thing is, what's that word that starts with an A? Autophagy, right? Mm-hmm. That means breaking down of bad cells. Your body's going to use those broken down cells for fuel. That's really cool. So we're actually burning the trash. It's kind of cool. And so, but your glucose might look a little high there. So we want the glucose down below 100, hopefully working down to 90, 80, and the ketones going up to somewhere around, 1, 2, 3. If you're 0.5, you're still in ketosis, so don't sweat it. Okay, cancer cells, and this was already in this thing, but since we already talked about cancer cells are placed under metabolic stress when glucose levels are reduced and ketone levels are elevated. What's that mean? Cancer can't live off ketones. So as we're going into ketosis and we're reducing our glucose level rather than being glucose monsters, which feeds cancer, then as we're lowering that down and getting our glucose up, our ketones up, the cancer cells are going to have a hard time living. They're going to be going, where can I eat? And then they're going to go, because they're just not going to be able to make it.
Do you know what ratio that is?
What? Of ketones to glucose?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're shooting for a 1-to-1 ratio, and we haven't got there yet. But if what you do is, ketones are usually measured in you get like a 2 to 3 measurement, right?
Right.
Glucose is like 90. You divide that glucose number by 18, and it's going to get you the same milk. It's going to be an English measurement rather than American measurement. So you want 1-to-1 is like key. That's where you want to be. That's ideal, right? You've been there.
Yeah.
Chris has been here. Did you ever get there, Eileen? Did you measure your ketones? Did you get?
No,
You don't know? Because you did a 6-day water
I
fast, right?
did. I haven't mentioned it.
Okay, well that's fine. You know, and you don't have to, but it's kind of good to know what you're doing. Oops. Calories restriction with ketosis reduces the total energy intake without causing anorexia or malnutrition. So what that means is when you can reduce your amount of calories and increase your ketones, your body's going to run more efficiently, basically. We all love this, don't eat less often. So you don't even have to change the amount you eat, just lower that, make that window narrower. It will end up you don't want to eat that much anyway. But you're giving the body a chance to heal. You're giving that organ that's been doing this 24/7, the stomach and the digestive system, you're giving it 18 hours a day off. It can actually heal. How long does a stomach cell last? Anybody remember? How long does a stomach cell live? Huh? 5 days. It's close. I mean, 5 days, and we only have one layer of them between inside of our intestines and where one layer of cells this food goes through in our intestines. So when you eat food and it scrapes and scratches up those cells, those are going to die and new ones are formed, and they're going to be bad ones until we start to repair our nutrition in our body. Okay, so you started with no snacks, 3 meals a day, right? Everybody do fairly good with that? This week we're going to go to 2 meals in an 4 to 9 hour eating window. So we're going to have a 15 to 20 hour fast. So you can pick what meal you want to skip. You know, either skip dinner or breakfast. I skipped breakfast. I haven't had breakfast. Well, you're going to learn next week. A real great surprise. But pretty much I don't eat breakfast, so I eat about 1 and then about 7. So that's a 6-hour eating window. So I have 18 hours a day that I don't eat. Now I'm doing my bulletproof coffee. How would I know if that's breaking my fast? What would I have to check? Glucose. And if my glucose goes up, what does that mean?
And you can't drink coffee.
Exactly. So we want your body to be burning only ketones and no glucose. So if you're putting a nut in your mouth, I guarantee your blood sugar is going to go up. So this is the goal. Now, who did that? You guys did this. Do you have any trouble doing this by this time, the 3rd week?
We're still doing it. It's so easy. I mean, because you don't crave food, so
yeah.
I have to remind myself to eat. You know.
Right. It's a way of life, right? Yeah. What were you telling me today, Pam? That thing you gave me from Kaiser? She comes in and goes, do you want to read what Kaiser says about ketones? I go, no, I don't want to read it. But, what did they say? Tell us what they said.
Oh, they just said the ketone diet has been around since the 1920s, and it helped out with different various diabetes and other kinds of things.
Seizures.
But yet, when they go around and finally finish talking about it, they said it's a fad diet.
Yeah.
How can it be a fad diet? It's been around since the 1920s. They lumped it in with a bunch of other diets.
I think it started back in primitive man.
They said
missed it. What did you guys say? Is this a diet or what?
A lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Atkins also.
I'm confused about the fat intake. So do you have a bullet coffee in the morning?
Yeah.
And when do you have your 2nd and 3rd one?
I'm not telling. I'm just kidding. So I usually wake up about 4 in the morning. That's where I got done writing my 4th book. My 5th is on the way. So if you can't sit down, yeah, so I have my coffee in the morning. It doesn't raise my blood glucose. It stays low. So fat, which is pure whipping cream, butter, or MCT oil, my glucose stays about the same or goes down. So I'm able to do that.
At 4, you start.
I'm at 4:30, 4 to 5, somewhere like that. So if my blood glucose doesn't matter, then I'm in ketosis, and my body is not dumping insulin in my body. So I'm basically fasting.
Right.
Okay. And then I usually come here and I go get another coffee, and then it sits on my desk all day, and just have 2 or 3 sips.
So
But
I
didn't answer your question.
Well, actually, you did, because then when is your third
Usually at home,
fat
dinner.
intake then with a drink?
It's okay. Well, it doesn't have to be with a drink.
You can count that fat in with the meal.
Yeah, usually when I go home and there's vegetables and my wife puts like a little cube of butter on it, I turn my back and dump a bunch more on there. So I love that organic grass-fed butter, and it's just been one of those things that's been really hard for her to see the difference, because we grew up, sparing butter and using nickel-inflated canola oil with yellow dye in it. It's called margarine that never melted on my rice. So, anyway, any other questions? We're almost done here, but...
At what point do you test after you do your bulletproof coffee to see your blood sugars?
So you should test, according to Dr. Pompa, you should test like a half hour after you wake up, because before you wake up, this hormone in your body called cortisol does a surge, and that is supposed to wake you up. It's your wake-up call. So that surge is going to cause your body to break down even muscle. It's called gluconeogenesis, which means I'm making new glucose out of muscle, because muscle is made of protein, which burns as sugar. So your body's going to grab that. But anyway, I don't want to get too confusing here. Test it an hour after you wake up, and then about an hour after you, or half hour after you have your coffee. And then even before, because if it goes up a little bit, you're okay. But if it goes up from 90 to 120, then you've got to try it without the cream. And just keep doing it, and maybe try it with MCT oil, so you can figure out what works best.
With the MCT or without?
Well, try it in many different ways, and over a period of a week, test your glucose and see which doesn't go up.
I saw on the screen something about bone tea, which I'm a great fan of bone tea.
Bone on here?
Yeah, there was something up there.
Bone broth? Bone broth?
It was quite a ways back.
Bone broth, yeah.
Bone broth.
We call it bone tea, but yeah.
That one?
There it is.
Badass bone broth?
Yeah.
I'll show you my videos sometime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I make it. You get organic. Do you want to make it, or you just want to?
No, we use a pressure cooker.
Yeah, and it's all organic, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because otherwise, you got who knows what's in that bone.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fine. Now, when we get into fasting, when you do a bone broth fast versus a water fast, there's different things that happen. You don't get as much autophagy and stem cell production with the bone broth. Carol, can you on this top shelf, second shelf, there's a new product. There's 2 of them. One's blue and one's another one. This is something that Pompa just came out with. I haven't even used them yet. Put your hand up and I'll show you. No, to the left. Those 2 things. One of these helps increase the amount of autophagy in our body, and the other it feeds the stem cells. So I don't even know how it works yet, but I bought it because it just interested me. So one cell renew and one cell clear, and I don't know what the hell they do, but they're good apparently. I'll figure them out and I'll let you guys know. It's going to improve your results. That's all I know.
So on the bone broth, is that considered a snack?
Well, when would you have it?
Well, if you had it in the morning instead of coffee, a bullet coffee.
So how would I know? Anybody?
You test.
You test your glucose. So if you have it and your glucose goes up, then you're not fasting.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I just want you to
Yeah,
get the
no,
thinking.
I'm getting it.
that's
It's
with
making sense.
And you need to do it prior to and after.
Right.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well, if you're doing bone broth, you want to get what your baseline glucose is, and then if you're going to drink bone broth, test it afterwards. Since bone broth is pretty much just, I don't really know if it's going to raise your glucose. I haven't tested it or not. I would not do it though when you're learning how to get this down. I think the best thing to do is try to stick with the program as easily as possible and alter it when you're on your own. But right now, we want you get the best results possible. And if you're having trouble, I have some Himalayan salt in the back, and I just put it on my tongue because, quite honestly, I'm almost doing 1 meal a day. I weighed myself the other day, 186. I haven't weighed that much since I've been married. I've been married 25 years. And I didn't even think about it because I'm not even thinking about eating. I'm not interested in it so much. And I thought, well, I'll go.
Putting a salt on your tongue?
Huh?
What was the purpose of
minerals, and also will stop your hunger pains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 2 tablespoons of Himalayan salt a day?
Teaspoons.
No, teaspoons.
Teaspoons, okay.
And you don't even have to do that much. You just realize that that's there to help with any cramping, leg cramps, and stuff like that. Anybody here, by the way, Carol, can you get the Super 2, which is on the shelf right next to that? This is an amazing product I've carried for 30 years. If anybody, you don't have to raise your hands, are having trouble going to the bathroom, which sometimes happens when you're fasting, yeah, just toss it over there. This stuff, Dr. Bernard Jensen, anybody ever heard of him? He was the chiropractor in the 30s that really started this whole thing. This is one of the products from his company. And Super 2, you take one in the morning and one at night. And if you're fasting and you're doing too much oils and you feel a little like you're not eliminating, it's really cheap. It's only $20 and there's like 190 pills in here or something. So this is awesome. It will really help you if you're interested in that. It will just keep things moving. Because I figure if you're fasting and you're having trouble eliminating, we're defeating our purpose. So, you know, that's another thing that we're learning as we go. And on the books, that, since they're back-ordered, I just want to say, remember, this just started in January. They're perfecting the books. So it's not like this stuff's been around a long time. You guys are the second group, and there's, I don't know how many of the 60 or 80 docs in Dr. Pompa's immediate circle are doing this, but you guys feel proud, man. You're doing it. How can you go and have energy and lose this much weight? I mean, you could, there's other ways to lose weight, but you're getting your health back. That's the difference.
Did they 3-hole punch it?
Huh?
Did they 3-hole punch the book?
No, they're spiral bound.
I know.
No, I doubt it, to be honest with you.
That'd be nice.
I mean, I have a hard time getting the books, let alone
Okay,
asking them to change
all right.
stuff.
You're saying it. You're going to have a hard time, may as well get what you want.
I'd just like to add about all this the fasting business. I heard stuff about, you know, snacking all day long is really good for you and all this stuff. And I would eat when I was hungry, but I would always seem to be hungry. So if I got weak or tired or foggy, I blamed it on I need some nutrition, so I'd get more nutrition. And so the fasting part is, this is counterintuitive. I need to eat, not starve myself. But immediately, all that it really changed, that I had never experienced that before. So the longer you can go in the intermediate fasting between eating it really gives you energy. It's just the opposite of what you think, and it clears up the fogginess, and it's really an amazing thing. So I just, you know, don't think that you have to be eating all the time if you're hungry or you're feeling you know, that you need some energy. The energy comes from fasting, not from eating.
And what you said too when we first started the class is that, you know, you're taught growing up, you're supposed to have that breakfast. You need to have that breakfast. And then you have to have that lunch and dinner. And clean your plate. Yeah, and clean everything on your plate. And if you're good, then you get ice cream for dessert. But, you know, like tonight, my day, it goes by so fast. I just have to sit down because of pain in my back in the middle of the day, and I just have the energy. Now I'm going constantly.
You don't have the pain in your back now, right?
No, my back is like unbelievably better thanks to him.
Thank you.
But I go all day, I'm like, I know daylight savings kind of messed us up as far as eating time and stuff. I'm still working out. I looked at the clock, I said, it's 10 after 6, my gosh, we gotta go. I ate half a cucumber, half an avocado with some salsa, and that was my dinner, and I'm just fine. There's no, you know, mashed potatoes, steak, and, you know, salad, and last night we had like just a huge salad with a little bit of cooked brown chicken on the top with peppers and
that's all you
oil
need.
and vinegar. And for us to do that, I mean, we're German. We have always eaten big meals, and I homemade bread constantly, you know. And so our life is just, gee, plus it's got so much easier.
Yeah, plus you save money. You know, actually, this is not true. I wish Chris was here tonight. Chris has been a patient. She's the teacher. Chris has lost, I don't know how much weight. And she came in and I adjusted her. I go, these new pants? She goes, yeah. And I go, I lied to you. because I told you if you fasted, you'd save money. Now you have to go buy a whole new board. And she's going, I know, it's really a bummer, you know. So that's, sorry, you know, sorry, you couldn't take them to the, you know, the tailor. But thank you so much. And you know what my dinner is most of the time? It's a little bit of gorgonzola cheese with pecans. I just love that. And I'll eat like less than a quarter cup of each because I have a lunch and I'm done. That's all I want. My stomach has shrunk. And I noticed this today. I kind of like the feeling of almost being a little hungry now. It's almost motivating to me. It's really weird. It's kind of like, yeah, I've got to survive. Okay, I don't have to go eat, but I have to go do something to survive. So it's different. And you know, by the way, Tony, I just wanted to introduce Tony. He's an organic farmer, right? He's got a large organic farm in Watsonville. And we were talking a while back, and I'm going to have him on my radio show too, Michael. Because, you know, what we've talked about, so you got to give me some more time. You guys all heard it, bother him, would you? No, but he's talking about you don't even turn over the soil, really. You want to keep the nutrients in the ground. You're not tilling it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, all the activity happens up top. So you want to just nurture that. In fact, so we used to farm conventionally, meaning all the chemicals and all that stuff. I laid down so much Roundup, it wasn't even funny. In fact, I still think some of my kids have issues because of that. Because back when I was young and we were doing it, we didn't have personal protective equipment. So we were doing it in tennis shoes, wet soil, laying down hard chemicals. I still got like the tail end of DDT when they were still phasing that out. And so all that nasty stuff, and we were doing it by hand. I got poisoned a few times, yada yada. So we came from a world where we laid down Roundup because they even had the commercial. We can afford Roundup, right? The farmer was talking that, had that commercial, and so we would religiously put it down in combination with another product called Chromoxan, also done by Monsanto, I think, or back then it was AstraZeneca. Anyhow, so we would always keep everything rid of vegetation. You know, a beautiful field was one that you come to and all you see is bare dirt and your plants, right? Come into the organic world where you see weeds everywhere, you see flowers, you see plants buried in your weeds, and so you think you're growing weeds and not, you know, vegetables.
And you also see birds and bees.
And you see birds and bees, and that's a huge problem with food safety, okay? Food safety is a big issue for organic farmers. I even went into biodynamic certification. We were certified on a farm. Part of that has to do with bringing in animals and having them participate in the nutrition and health of your soil, hence the homeopathy. But what ended up happening is that we could not get certified food safety, and therefore we could not sell to our customer, and we cannot keep a contract.
Who was not allowing you to be certified?
The food safety people. I mean, we could be certified biodynamic, but we couldn't apply the practices.
I see.
And we would have to go buy all the inputs and whatnot, and so we weren't able to make our own.
Just too much money.
It's the same people that manage vaccines.
And so, in any case, we used to do all that, but it's a lifestyle change. So we quickly adapted, mostly driven by economics. Organic is worth still more than conventional, and then you get used to it. So now we welcome weeds, we welcome insects and whatnot. There's a balance. You use beneficial insects, you use insectaries all around. We do spray, but it's all natural products still, because you got to keep down funguses and mildews and all that sort of thing. A lot of it just has to do with the culture of buying your product, because people want to see that perfect apple, that perfect strawberry. Organically, you grow strawberries and they come deformed, cat-faced as we call it, and people don't want that. Those are the best tasting strawberries you can ever have.
Say they're heirloom.
What do they look like?
Well, that's still cat-faced, like deformed. You know, like an heirloom tomato. Heirloom tomatoes are naturally deformed, but when we came into this, I thought it was a calcium deficiency. Come to find out, this is natural. And the colors, we were used to just a normal, you know, carrots that we bred for an orange carrot. Is not the original. The original was white. You know, rainbow carrots, those are the original colors. So colors is a good thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, sorry.
Well, thank you so much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great, Tony, and I appreciate what you're doing. You know, we all do it. You're watching it, you know. And so you're,
well, we're in the Tri-County, so Watsonville, Salinas, Hollister, and that just has to do with the seasonality and where we start.
Yeah.
And because of the microclimates. But, yeah.
So what's really cool for us is to have somebody here who's on the ground and knows what's happening to our food. So, you know, corner him if you have any questions. And I know he'll be glad to answer them.
When you said all the activities in the surface, what do you mean? What kind of activity?
I guess you could call it the vibes, the microbiome. What is it?
Microbiome.
Microbiome is the same thing as in our stomach. I mean,
You know what?
You have all the good bacteria up top.
What you told me is, and the roots go into the ground, and then the nutrients get to the root because of the microbiome in the ground. And the Roundup and those chemicals are killing the microbiome, so the nutrients can't even get to the root of the plant.
It just blocks it out.
So, I mean, it's so bad, and thank God Monsanto is hopefully going to be put a dent into them. And, you know, we got to really make a difference on that.
Do you know how much his food is going to be worth if Monsanto goes out of business with glyphosate?
I hope a lot.
Well, and if the border gets shut down.
Didn't Monsanto just sell their
No more avocados, right?
That's a big problem.
No avocados for you.
I got an avocado free, the price just went up. All right, well, let's get going here. Okay, you started, so 2 meals a day. Everybody kind of have an idea where they want their eating window to be? Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, if you need any help, get on Health Rebels. Please, if you're not on there, get on there and just say hi. It's just nice to see people communicate. For muscle gain, if you want to get more muscle, and we were talking about that, you want to eat more calories in your window. At least, now some people, there's something called OMD. There's a lot of people that just eat 1 meal a day. It's called OMD Society or something. And sometimes that's a 24-hour fast every day. You need to have a feast day though, and we'll go into that. But at least one big meal to remind your body that it's not starving. So that's what's wrong with all these calorie counting things like up the street here, where you are going to restrict your calories. Your body just goes down to that new level and it doesn't lose any weight. It just sits at that new level. So we want to go up, down, challenge, intermittent fasting, ancient healing strategies means eat this and then eat the fat, then you eat the white carrots and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to teach you all that stuff. What about our coffee? We talked about this already, about testing yourself when you're intermittent fasting to see if one thing good about coffee is it actually stimulates your brain. And now some people it's a depressant, and some people it's a
antidepressant.
Yeah. So you never know. That's why you test your blood glucose.
It is an antidepressant.
Is it?
People are less depressed when they drink coffee.
Okay. I believe it. I like my coffee. Choose your 10-hour window or shorten it if you wish. I will be eating, so in your paperwork you can write that down. I'm going to be eating between blah and blah, have a busy schedule. Arlene?
Yes.
You were telling me that you were having trouble. When was that? Yesterday or today? You said, I'm having trouble, I feel like I need to eat. What did you do for that?
Well, the first week it was easier to stick to 3 meals. But now when I eat lunch in the middle of the afternoon, I get super hungry.
Afterwards?
Yes, like around 4 hours after I eat
So
lunch.
what have you been doing for that? Anything? Don't tell me you're snacking. I can watch you.
No. Naps. I tried the salt,
and
then also tea with coconut oil.
Okay, that's good. And what did you've noticed that you just lost your desire to eat in between meals, right?
Yeah, I'd always think I need to have something to eat. I'm a diabetic, so they want you to eat every 2 or 3 hours and, keep feeding the diabetes. And I told my doctor I was going on this, first it was just straight ketos. So you just can't do that. It just blew me. Yeah.
Doctors get upset.
I'll stop, because I was going to do just the straight keto thing when we went this way. So,
I'd love to see you rephrase that. I have diabetes. To say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People what's crazy to me is people come in here as patients and they go, well, I had my accident 45 years ago. It's my accident. I own this accident. Yeah. And they just give it up. You don't need to own it anymore. Just say, I was in an accident. So you have a condition that has been called diabetes, but it's not my condition. And I think that's just that mind thing anyway, just kind of a stupid thing.
You can say, I have been diagnosed with diabetes.
Somebody wants to diagnose me with diabetes, but I don't buy it.
Are there teas that you shouldn't have during the day that spike your insulin?
Well, why don't you just talk about the good teas, Carol?
Yeah, the tea that's most highly recommended.
Can you talk louder, because some of us are deaf?
Green tea or Earl Grey, the whole citrus are the two best.
Okay.
It has bergamot in it, right?
So
Yeah,
like
the bergamot.
so like chamomile and mint teas.
Yeah, they're fine if they're organic, but the ones that are known, the two best in terms of autophagy are the green tea, organic green tea, and the bergamot, whole bergamot.
We haven't talked about autophagy too much, have we?
Oh, you weren't here last week.
Oh, really?
I must go on for 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, one of these creates autophagy. The other one helps induce stem cell production. I don't know which one it is. I haven't had a chance to look at it. So I'll just eat them both and see what happens. That's kind of where I go. I'm a child of the 60s, so I just try anything. You know? Especially if my mother didn't give it to me. Then I'm down 100%. So, and I was in Berkeley. That even makes it worse. So what if you're not in ketosis? So you guys get your keto meters if you don't have them. If you're not in ketosis, there's usually, you're either toxic, which we really need to talk about the cancer thing. You're eating too many carbs, you're dropping electrolytes, which is what means you want to eat more sea salt. Your fasting window may be too long. We might want to shorten it, or you might be eating too much protein. So get on Health Rebels, throw questions out in there. Carol looks at it, I look at it. Oftentimes you guys answer the questions for each other, and it's really good. So most important teaching of the week, how eating in a small window causes hormone sensitivity. Wow. Increases fat burning, increases autophagy, promotes stem cells. What? How eating in a small window causes hormone sensitivity. That is awesome. That means your body can actually use what the brain's trying to tell it to do. Because the cells are not so inflamed all day. You open up the doors for a brief moment in time, like the border, since we're talking about that. The border's open, okay, hormones come into the cell, look, shut! So during the eating window, your borders are shut more. But that's cool. And then increase fat burning because your body doesn't have the available sugar that you're constantly feeding it. It has to go after stores. Increase autophagy. Your body's going to look for more food. So it's going to break down old weak cells. It's going to chase them around and go, sorry, you're mine. And it's going to eat the ones that can't get out of the way. So that's what's cool about this whole thing. Your body's going to go get the weak ones, and they're cannibals. They're going to eat them. Pretty cool. And then promote stem cells, which is why we're doing this, because stem cells are going to make us young again. This gets the body used to going longer without food, using your body's fat store for energy. And then there's some testing. Has everybody done the testing with Caitlin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Caitlin?
No.
Who hasn't done it? You want to get your body cell mass done. Who's here has done both before and after? You guys did it, though, didn't you? You get it done after, because we can see, I mean, the average person, like for instance, you might lose 10 pounds or 14 pounds of weight, but you might gain 5 pounds of muscle and lose 20 pounds of fat. And this machine will gauge that for us, because muscle, you did it, right? You did both before and after.
Before, not after.
What? Okay, you guys got to make sure you're on this. Get with Caitlin. Just pick a time. It takes about 15 minutes. You want to get that done.
But that was a visual test, not a...
No, that's a visual test. That's a different test. That's,
okay.
That's looking for mold and chemical sensitivity. The BIA is really good. Just a couple other metal tests. Oh, that's the mother-daughter thing.
Oh, that's a urine test?
Yeah, it's a heavy metal provoked urine test, and it has
so
to be
do you
provoked.
do that here?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually, it's normally $2.99. Anybody in the group, we do it for $1.99, and we just give you a kit. You go home, and you have to get some stuff called DMSA, which is a chelator. We teach you how to do it. It's really amazing. You get the baseline. Who's this?
Is that $1.99?
No. This is somebody high in chromium, and then this is the person that decided to do the 6-day water fast. in Mexico, 1,000 miles south of Mexico. She's probably listening. She always does. And but she, you know, you don't do a fast when you're that toxic. You know, not uncontrolled. Oh yeah, heavy metal urine test 199, and you just need to order the DMSA. And then we actually have this detox trio. We'll talk about that next week because you guys are getting to detox. These are the things that are going to help pull the toxins out of your body. I don't want to go into that tonight. Just preparing for next week, we will introduce a feast day. Isn't that cool? You actually get to eat one day a week. Now, don't do what Dean did.
Yeah, no chocolate chip cookies.
Well, you thought you could eat anything on the
I ate all of
it. You ate everything from A to Z, right? It's like, go and eat a whole bunch, but not like pancakes. And,
I ate all the suggested.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Okay, all of them. That's great. So, the reason you want to have a feast day is it tells your body you're not starving. If you just do the same diet, and I mentioned this before, your body's going to shut down. So we give it a feast day, so it goes, all right, I'm not starving, and it will continue to dump the stuff.
So when do we start that?
I'm not, next week. Right now, we're doing 2 meals a day.
Don't jump ahead.
But what you want to do, is I think it says on one of these, is start thinking about, take note of foods that you might miss or crave, and know that you will be able to have a higher carbohydrate and protein day that day. So if there's things that you really want, that's the day you eat them. You know, so I really want a potato or a sweet potato or, you know, a big steak or ice cream fudge sundae. No, don't do that. But, you know, anyway, within reason.
You'll get a sweet potato.
Okay, so really, now's the kind of time, you guys, this is the 3rd week here. You came in with one goal. You might have not even known what we were going to do, but now you kind of see where we're going. Don't be afraid to adjust your goals. Go, wow, this is kind of working this way for me. I mean, you know, you've lost 3 pounds, and, you know, you start to go, this is how I want to see my life in 6 months. We want to look at 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? If you do diets, you're bound to fail. If you start a lifestyle change, you're going to make it, right? And especially if we do what we need to do to prevent cancer, which we will be teaching you. Give your odds the best chance. We've got to empty the bucket out. You guys already have your grocery list. Start intermittent fasting. Shorten your eating window. Check your coffee glucose. Get further into ketosis. And then the cells are going to start to adapt. The cells are going to start to work better. Summary, intermittent fasting, adaptation. Get into ketosis. And then we're getting into hormone optimization. The only thing that doesn't say here is feast day. I've got to change the slide because that's all you guys care about. Sure. When do I get to eat? So if there's any questions, we can answer them now, or any comments or thoughts. Yeah.
So I missed where this was, but do I continue with the fats?
Yes. Yeah, you're going to continue with the fats 2-2-2-2 throughout the fats, except when we get to the 5-day. So, you know, you guys, thank you for being here. I kept this a little long because I wanted to go over the coffee thing. I'll stick around and answer questions. I love the fact that you guys are working together and you know, helping each other. And please get on Health Rebels. It's just really important for you guys. If you have a question in the middle of the night and no way to get a hold of anybody, and I'm usually up, so, you know, I'll find it. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.